Bamm, Ericsen here with AFTERBUZZ TV for Empire Season 3, Episode 3. Let's go!
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Listening
with
to
the fingers.
Right. Very typical Mariah. Hey, what's up? This is Bamm Ericsen again on AFTERBUZZ TV for Empire Season 3. You can follow me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen.
I'm Jill Munroe, and you can follow me on everything at Stiletto Jill.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia. Follow me on all social media at Kennelia.
And I'm Emile Ennis Jr. You can find me at Emile Ennis Jr. and at Emile Ennis Jr. 31 on Snapchat.
Okay, so Anika's revenge. So, was Anika out of pocket for giving Lucious a taste of his own medicine with the UPS guy?
Listen, the USP guy. I thought that was absolutely perfect, and that was great casting. Mm-hmm. Whoever casted that role, because I'm sure everybody was like, "Who that dude is?"
Steamy.
He was cute. I mean, but people be having cold sores, so you got to be a little more careful out here in the streets. That's all I was concerned about. He could have herpes simplex 1.
He could have though.
Was that dial and delivered? Did she just hook that up, or was that like pre-ordered? Felt pre-ordered.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was just one of those things where, like she says, I feel like I'm a prisoner. I'm bored. I'm lonely. I have nothing to do. I can't leave out the house. The UPS guy did the whole hand touching. Hey, she had a moment, so she felt she did what she did. I'm not mad.
Well, and I'm sick of Lucious doing all these things and not expecting anybody else to enjoy themselves. He doesn't want Cookie to enjoy herself. He doesn't want Anika to enjoy herself, but he gets mad when they do something to pleasure. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of frustrating. So I'm glad that she did it. And I'm glad that she's not afraid to stand up to him, because this Anika that we're seeing now is kind of what I was wanting more of last season. Because remember, first season, Anika would go head to head with Cookie. She would go head to head with Lucious, whoever. And it seems like after she dealt with that whole Hakeem getting pregnant and feeling insecure about herself, it seemed like she just disappeared. And the character, I fell out of love with the character, even though the original Anika Boo Boo Kitty I loved. So it feels like Boo Boo Kitty is finally back this season, and we're getting to see the side of her that we all loved. And I don't know if that's because she married Trai Byers in real life and they negotiate some things behind the scenes. But however, I'm just glad that she's back to her full strength.
Yeah, she had a new hairdo. The little thing was whipped on the side.
Swift over.
Well, this is my question though. What is the harm of her leaving the house? Because the investigation is no different than anything that has been going on in the Lyon family. Mm-hmm. There's always been shade. There's always been someone looking to bring them down. So this whole time I'm like, well, why can't she leave the house? What's the big deal?
Because who's gonna watch the baby? Maybe.
Yeah, but technically,
get a nanny. She can take her with her, put a little thing on.
Mm-hmm. But technically, even when season 2, when she wasn't working at Empire, she was at the house and she was like, who's her friends? Where's she gonna go?
She pushed her other friend
off
the top of the building.
Right.
So
still no funeral.
Even if
you better preach. Come on, Jill. Still no funeral.
So even if she goes to the mall, she has no girlfriends. Who?
That's true.
Okay, so now Lucious threatens Boo Boo Kitty that his mother will kill her if she brings another man in the house and forbids her to do so. But technically speaking, what the hell Lucious is gonna do? Boo Boo Kitty says that I'm gonna do what I do when I want to, or we both go down in flames.
What is she gonna do? What she gonna kill her? What did she say? Mutually something. Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think the one thing I will say is, as much as I love her for standing up, is Lucious is crazy, and I say that meaning the only reference I can make is think of Scandal season whatever, maybe 5 or 4, whenever Andrew was on there, and just remember he got injected and then he was
he was hit the stroke.
Yeah, he had the stroke or whatever. So
the permanent stroke medicine.
I'm just saying I just need to make sure that she stays on point, and I don't want her to get too comfortable and think that she is smarter than Lucious, because she may be, but she can make a mistake and then Lucious can do something crazy like that and she'll be walking around.
Very true, but I also think the fact that the baby's involved, and again, she has to be kept alive until all of this settles, because if she dies, Lucious,
she would still be alive though, technically.
If she goes missing, if they kill her, I feel like at this point, Boo Boo Kitty has the leverage, not for long, but she has the leverage where she can kind of go toe to toe with him for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now speaking of other revenges, now let's get into Tiana, Graham, Hakeem, Lucious, Nessa, and Shine. All right, so Tiana performs a new song with her boyfriend, Raymond Lewis, a.k.a. Graham. Do we all agree that Graham started the beef?
Whenever I see Graham, I still just see Little Romeo, braids, and a bandana. I can't get past it, so it's hard for me to take Graham seriously. But he did.
Well, and they had to have recorded that, so somehow Tiana had to be pillow talking about, he ain't right. And then they collabed, and then this became a thing. So they're both equal in this. They both to blame.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm with Jill. I tried to get past Little Romeo, but the whole time I was staring at him like, because there's certain people, and he's a good actor and everything. There's certain people where when I watch them, I still see that person.
I forgot he rapped. He ain't rapping so long.
I forgot that too.
I was like, oh yeah.
So that was a good thing for me to see that. But yeah, there's certain people for whatever reason when I see them, Jennifer Hudson being one of them. When I see them, I just see them.
Jennifer,
yeah. So.
Yeah, remember those rap snacks though? Those chips he had. Did y'all ever know that they had potato chips?
The masterpiece snacks.
It was like rap snacks, and he was like on the front. It was like chips, potato chips.
I don't remember that.
know.
No,
they had them.
They sold those in the hood. Sorry.
Maybe it didn't make it to Cali. I don't know. Hakeem is pissed. Is he beefing for the wrong reasons?
It's for his manhood. What else do he have left? Everything is for pride. Yeah. Where else is he gonna express that?
He's a rapper. He has to clap back, even if he don't care.
And Hakeem needs some inspiration. And you see Hakeem is like that guy. He's a typical rapper where, even if the girl moves on or the woman moves on, he still is going to hold on to that. And especially if you diss me on stage and you're on the same label as I am, like, it's just complicated. So I feel like he had to respond and retaliate.
I feel like he's a 2016 rapper versus an old school rapper, because I think if Lucious would have not said clap back by doing a diss record, he would have got all into his feelings. He would have probably tried to step to him somewhere. He would have, did the Twitter beef. But the smart business move is you do a diss track. That's like what real rappers do. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that Lucious stepped in and told him, you need to do this track rather than getting in your feelings and do something stupid on social media like these rappers do now.
Yeah, and I'm glad he didn't challenge him to a freestyle.
Right. But Hakeem has been, spitting a little bit of fire.
Oh, no. It was good.
Yeah, it was. So do you think Hakeem won?
So far, he won, I guess we're going to get to that. He won by adding in Tiana's vocals because that's a hot thing. You're using herself against her. She can't say anything. She can't stop it. And it all goes back to their bottom line.
Because it's like in today where so many people tell their business. Now that I know the business, Tiana and Graham won to me.
Why?
Because Hakeem was acting too much into his feelings. You not with the girl. Just maybe about 7, 8, 9 days ago, you was getting ready to marry Laura. So I need you to step off. Like, you was getting ready to, you was in love, you didn't want Tiana, and now that Laura done left your ass, now you want to go back to Tiana? Please.
Well, I don't even think it was that he wants to go back to Tiana. I don't think he cares about Tiana. He's moved on from that. It's literally just
property.
Yeah, you dissed me on stage. I as far as like who won,
but you remember he was in his feelings saying that's my girl. So that means he's still harboring feelings because he wouldn't have never said my girl.
I don't think it's, but I don't see it as feelings in that way though. I think it's just territorial. Yeah, I think if
entitlement. That's just his old standby. That's like, that's mine. If I want to come back to it anytime I feel like it, I'm going.
That's his mentality. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where he literally could give two shits about her. He's already thinking about Nessa, and he's worried about her, and he had a baby by Anika, so.
Yeah. And in that regard, that means that to me, Tiana lost. They lost because he didn't pick you. You weren't the one getting married. You don't have his kid. You ain't like you never got chose.
And she's still talking about him,
and she's still talking about it in her feelings, still talking to little Romeo, talking about he did this and he did that. Technically, that means that she's the loser.
Mm-hmm. And see, I think opposite. I think she won because she moved on, and because she moved on.
Did she have a choice but to move on though?
Yeah.
But who? I mean, she moved
And
on.
when you
but
move
she
on,
moved.
you don't be pillow talking a little Romeo.
Yeah,
telling them
but
the
she moved
business.
on. She moved on, I guess, 6 months ago because the whole entire season 2, he had been with Laura. So technically, she moved on because if she wanted him when he came drunk, she'd have gave him the draws. But she didn't. Like, she's over him, I think. But agree to disagree.
I don't know, and I also don't feel like, or I feel like by her being on stage with him doing this song and then also doing the kiss at the end, it just felt like it was too much. Like, she was just being extra, and if you've truly moved on, you don't have to do all that stuff. Like, it was already implied that you guys are together, possibly, just like when Drake and Rihanna used to do their songs together, be grinding on each other and stuff. So it was implied. We didn't really have to see a kiss.
Let me just say
And
this.
then I felt like she was giving Hakeem eye contact when she first stepped out to start the song. So it was like all a setup. Like, watch what I'm about to do to you.
I get that. The final thing, and then we'll move on. There is a thing called moving on, but still being petty.
That ain't moving on then. Because if you still got that hate in your heart, you still salty, you haven't moved on. If you can still talk to your ex-boyfriend about talk to your new boyfriend about what your ex-boyfriend did to you, and y'all, it's that powerful for you to like address it in public, on record, on stage, and look at him dead in the eye, you're not over it.
Better preach.
Okay.
Like, you're not over it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, so Nessa did another great Whitney Houston move where she was like, I am not about to be a part of this bashing other female artists. That's what Whitney Houston was, so that's what I compare. And so Shine then chokes his allegedly sister, because now I question, do brothers...
Maybe they're half sisters, same dad, different mom, something like that.
Play cousins or something. Yeah, that dynamic is... And to me, I already thought that they took it there. Like, before, when we first were introduced to her character, the way he entered the room with her and he was like, sit down, and he was so aggressive with everybody, even the way he talked to her, I was already assuming that, before I found out that they were brother and sister, that he was whooping her ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he had that vibe, and she had that fear, that fearful look in her face. So when it happened, I was disappointed that I saw him choke her, but I was like, I thought he already been joking her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Shine, for what he did, I think Nessa or somebody needs to cut his balls, season it, put into
Season it.
put it into hot oil, and it's just not cool. I didn't particularly like that. But what I did like is I'm on Team Lucious when Lucious told Hakeem, if you're not having sex with her, stay out of it. That's not your battle. And I do agree with Team Lucious. I'm with Team Lucious. He needs to stay out of it.
But I think he brought it to his attention too, because it's like, that's the type of energy you have around your business right now. That could be bad for us.
You don't think Lucious know that Shine is grimy like that?
Of course Lucious knows, but is that what you need right now? I mean, I was a little proud of Hakeem.
If Shine beat up that poor engineer during episode 1 when Lucious and his bodyguards was there, I'm just saying Lucious knows what's going on.
Well, I'm kind of with you guys though, because if with the FBI investigating everything, you really don't need any additional scandals right now. And since you just introduced this artist, granted it was because Jamal stepped out of the spotlight, but since you just introduced this new artist to your whole audience and your roster executives and everybody, investors, this is somebody everybody's going to be looking at. So if this new artist comes out and then there's already, after her introduction, a scandal that possibly comes out saying that one of your engineers, they don't care if it's Shine, is beating this girl, choking her, wherever it may be, then, because think about it, Tyreke is literally looking for any way to get at Lucious, and this can just be his step in the door to then say, oh, we can analyze this and get into that, and we don't have to give you a warrant or anything. So I just don't think he needs any additional drama. It's kind of upsetting that Lucious is so focused on like the Empire stream and like making sure that all of this stuff is in line, but he doesn't care about his artists. Which I know that's nature to the devil, but
I have an opinion about that. We'll get on that in just a second. Any other thoughts on Shine, Nessa? Okay, so Jamal and his therapy group. One thing I will say about Jamal, he's sure no matter what he's going through, he always has a man.
I knew you were gonna say that too. I'm not
mad at him.
You already know that's where
You already know
They're
it.
about to be booed up.
Oh,
You know
absolutely.
Rescue.
The way he chased after him, I'm not mad at him. I'm just saying, like, no,
'Cause it's real out here.
no ma-
Everybody listen. Do
Everybody
what
ain't
Jamal
able.
Do you, boo boo?
Right.
You can help him get through the PTSD.
Seek and you shall find.
But I do wonder,
Person-
where is homeboy that was just at the
He did it
wedding
and
4
quit.
days ago?
Who?
He was at the wedding. The boy who Skyped us, the
Oh,
producer.
Yeah.
That, I mean, that was just 4 days. That was 10
That's why
days
you
ago.
gotta
You
wait.
guys act
Yeah.
like Jamal don't move through him. He always moves through him. He always has a new boo. He's always somebody else he's intrigued with. You
Keep
know,
a
he
man
gets to
on
it.
his side.
Right. Full advantage of his position.
So we'll see where that storyline goes. Now, what's your take? The poor thing, he's clearly in trouble. Just the way he reacted to seeing Frida when he went to visit her. What's your thoughts?
I like that they're showing us this storyline in regards to him in therapy and him addressing it, because we know in the Black community, therapy and seeking help is shunned upon, or people don't want to talk about it. It's becoming more of a thing where people are feeling like they should address it and we should really make it a discussion. But I like that they're doing that, because this whole time he's like, no, I'm fine. No, you're not fine. And you need to do something about it. To me, it's weird on the other hand that, yeah, Frida shot him, and I know a couple weeks ago I said something like, well, yeah, because Frida and the gun violence and blah, blah, blah. But it's still weird that he went to see her and he's still talking to her. Like she didn't shoot him. Even if she shot him on purpose or by accident, she still shot your ass. So the fact that he even went there, I was like, dude, don't just call her on the phone, bro.
Yeah.
She shot you. I don't care if she wasn't aiming at you or not. Go, stay home.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering where he thought that was going to go, like what he thought he was going to accomplish by going there, because there's one thing in situations where you face something that's bothering, like you face your fears and then you battle it head on and you move on from it. But he was shot though, so you can't just go in there and try to be like, oh, I'm fine, especially if he's already or still having symptoms of PTSD and still suffering from the effects of the shooting. It was just, it was too soon. Like that's something, like Kennelia said, if he did a call, he can do an initial call, then maybe a couple months later to a year, he can then try to reach out and make contact. But I don't know.
I don't think oh, go ahead.
No, I think he's trying to conquer it fast because he knows that it's what's holding him back from performing, and he doesn't want to get walled in by that. I think he thought that he could handle it on his own, and he was wrong.
I think that
He was wrong.
I don't think that he understands what exactly he's fearing. So I think he's trying to put this whole situation on Lucious, and that Frida is completely innocent. So it makes sense for me. It makes sense that I think he would go and see her because he thinks that Frida is innocent. So if he thinks Frida is innocent and it's all Lucious, then Lucious is a problem, which is causing them to not be able to sing and perform. So he wants to make peace with Frida because he thinks that she's the victim.
But he started cracking up in there, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's going to have a breakdown, too.
Yeah. And so now Cookie sets up this duet with Kitty, played by Mariah Carey, to cure him from stage fright. Open discussion. What's your thoughts?
Well, first of all, the first thing, because I don't know if you guys saw when Jussie Smollett and Gabby Sidibe were on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. But I love Bravo and I love that show. So they were on there and I was pleasantly surprised. I haven't watched What Happens Live in a while. And they were lit. They had a lot to drink. And somehow Mariah Carey came up and then I don't know if they were asked, I can't remember if they were asking like about her guest appearance just in general when she came to the show. And all Gabby Sidibe said was late. So then that whole thing was just like, I was just waiting to see some diva antics in it because I was just thinking while they're interacting with her, what actually is going through their mind based on like how she came to the set or what time she came to the set. However, I will say, taking all that out of context, no shade, taking all that out of context and out of the picture, I actually enjoyed her character. I enjoyed her performance on the show, and I felt like it was a natural fit, unlike some of the other characters that they try to put on the show. It didn't feel like I was watching Mariah Carey. I actually believed that it was this Kitty character.
Really?
And I really did. Like, yes, she didn't really go. When you see Kitty, it's not like she's not Mariah Carey. She's still playing essentially Mariah Carey. However, there's still something about, and I don't know how to describe it. Like we talked about Romeo earlier. When I saw Romeo, I was seeing Romeo, but when I saw Kitty, yes, I know it's Mariah Carey, but I'm believing that this isn't necessarily the Mariah Carey we know. This is her playing, she's acting. And everybody can do it. Now, I just want to clarify because I'm not saying that Romeo can't act.
She gave an authentic performance that you could appreciate. And
there's
separate.
a difference. There's a difference between. Here's another thing that I think that maybe the Romeo thing. Maybe why Jill and I might have been feeling this is because it's different when you have an artist or an actor who kind of stays in the spotlight continuously, even if it's a year or two. But Romeo, he like did Dance with the Stars. He pops in like every now and then. Yeah. See, you didn't even know. See, that's the thing. So, and this is no diss or anything to him. He's a super talented guy. It's just when you have somebody come back, as soon as you see them, you're like, oh shit, that's Romeo. You know what I mean? Because you haven't seen them in so long. So, no shade. It's just.
We don't know necessarily everything that's happened since the last time we saw you.
So it was just a surprise, and the whole time we're watching, we're thinking, oh shit, Romeo's back.
I liked Mariah Carey on here, mainly because I think it's because of the past seasons there were so many superstar guests. When she came, the only other person was Taye Diggs, and they blended him into the storyline. It wasn't like this celebrity random like throw in or pop up. So I was appreciative that they used her the way that they did instead of just throwing her in. Because when I heard stories and reports, from during the summer that Mariah Carey was going to be on, I was like, oh, they're just throwing people in. But it seemed like a seamless fit for me, so I liked it.
I liked it too. I enjoyed it. Like Lena said, it made sense. Just like. She's the superstar. Cookie's calling in a favor. This is someone that could bring Jamal out of his shell. So it seemed like a natural fit. And their song was, nice together.
Okay, well, I'm gonna throw some shade.
I knew it was coming.
What I appreciate about Mariah Carey is I'm just going to assume she picked her wardrobe. Okay.
Of course.
I loved it.
I love the wardrobe too, and what I liked about it is. Tiana's character was also the one in this episode, who was Hoochie Mama. She had on her wardrobe and stuff or whatever. And I like that Mariah Carey came in and represented for grown women with grown bodies. You know what I'm saying? Like real women. And she came in there with the leotard, the outfit. I loved it. So
the original Angle Queen.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, because based on the character that Mariah Carey is supposed to be, she's a diva.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a diva in a bad way, but she loves costumes and loves presenting herself in a certain way. So she was in the studio with a onesie on. It was like cool, perfect.
And not only that, some people were making a big deal out of it online. But remember, it was being streamed as a video, so she had to be camera ready. She, you don't have your sweats on and a t-shirt and a hat or whatever.
She had to give you Kitty in full grand
so
form.
I appreciated it at all costs. Okay, so now. Let's go Cookie versus Lucious. I am Team Lucious all the way on this whole battle between Cookie and Lucious. My problem with Cookie is I feel she's a little too relaxed. Lucious said that he needs 10 million subscribers by Wednesday. He needed 5 hits in a couple days. He was willing to give out cards. Like, he is all about his business. Say what you want to say about the man. He's all about his business. If he doesn't get this Empire Extreme popping off, they're done. And so I like the fact that he used Hakeem to do the diss so that it gives revenue to Extreme. I like the fact that Jamal did what he did in order for the black and white album. Cookie you're not on your game, and I need Cookie to get her shit together because you do own half Empire, but if this Extreme streaming service don't pop off, y'all doomed. So I'm team her all the way because she's not on the shit. And
well, when you're dealing with somebody like Lucious, you'll never win. Like you're never, when you're dealing with a man who would pawn his kids for a position or for power or for financial gain, that man don't have nothing to lose. And if you never fought with somebody who ain't never had nothing to lose, you don't know, you will never win. So I don't mind Cookie being kind of Cookie and relaxed and taking a different perspective in this, because she can stress herself out, she can run ragged, she can do circles around that building. Lucious will do whatever he can to make sure that she doesn't succeed. So don't stress yourself out, girl, because he gonna do something shady anyway.
Okay, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with you, Kennelia, but I kind of also agree with Bamm only because it almost feels as if Cookie has gotten a little too comfortable though. Like she's not playing the game anymore. And yes, Lucious tends to always win, but at least if she played the game, maybe he would focus his efforts on trying to beat somebody else. That makes sense. Instead of like trying. I just want him to. If she played the game a little better. Just played into his little antics, flirt with him a little bit, like give him a little ego boost and stroke his dick a little bit, then maybe she can fly under the radar and do what she's doing instead of and still succeed instead of like just getting so comfortable and just being shocked when Lucious does what Lucious does.
Yeah, but when she was doing that, he went and got married to Boo Boo Kitty.
Okay, well, there's that too.
You know, like you can't win with a man like Lucious.
They called him all episode. They kept calling him a vampire. I think that's such an accurate description because he's just going whatever gives him life, he's gonna suck it from you and just leave you with nothing. So I mean, she did. I guess she feels like when it counts, she turns it around, just like she pulled the Kitty Jamal duet out of her, out of the air. She always comes up with something to sort of placate him for the moment, at least. But I do think she maybe should focus a little bit more on making sure that Empire stays on track because if they lose it, then what?
And on top of that, he's doing the business, she's doing the music. So get out your feelings. First of all, let's talk about this Black and White album. Release the damn album, okay? Who cares that Jamal can't perform? As a A&R, if they would have given the job to Becky, or if they gave it to Boo Boo Kitty because they both have experience. In a situation like this, and Jill, I know you have music and background as well. You can release the album. He can still do music videos. He can do maybe four visuals. You can put it out to radio, release it, and the money comes. And then just have maybe Lee Daniels or something make an appearance. You lie and say you're gonna do a movie for 6 months, and that you're gonna come back when the movie's done, and you'll tour. Like there's ways that you can manipulate the situation still while having the music out, because once the music is out, all you need is those first 6 weeks. Yeah. So I'm over it.
I mean, business-wise, Lucious always seems to make sense. He's always thinking of the right move for the business, but obviously Jamal has some attachments to that album with psychologically. I don't really know why, but I think they should release it.
Yeah, so who cares?
Well, I think this is a good example of what's happening today in music in regards to people wanting to stay independent versus big labels. Because when you're independent, you get to do what you want to do with your music, control it. If you don't like the album, you can withhold it and maybe drop it at a later date. But if you're with a big label and they put all this money behind it, they don't care if you feeling uncomfortable or you got stage fright. They're dropping the album. So I like that they're showing that because that's what's happening pretty much kind of right now.
Anything else? Oh, what's your thoughts about this Angelo character? Do you think that also Cookie is too wrapped up low key in Angelo, that she's not focusing, or do you think?
Tay Diggs?
Yeah, Angelo.
Oh, that's his name?
Angelo Dubois.
Can we just talk about, at least for me, when she went to go visit him and he was on stage, being upset about the kid? He felt very wooden in that scene. I'm like, Tay, what happened? Like, I kind of lost you for a second.
Oh my God.
His acting was just like, get him off.
I be distracted because he ain't got no mustache. He got bare lip and beard. Like it's so distracting.
Is that good or bad?
No, bad. To me, when you have like chin hair and no stash, it just
Amish
throws
thing,
it just throws it off. So
I
was
used
just
to rock the
distracted.
goatee for a while because I couldn't grow.
When? I did not
Go
know
back
you
to
when
some
you
old
had
AfterBuzz. I used to rock this
But
goatee forever.
But I think
with
that's
no stash.
No stash. I couldn't grow the stash. I still can't grow a full beard.
Let me see.
That's a little bit different because you like Tay Diggs, or right?
I mean, he all right.
Okay.
He ain't my boo. He ain't one of my boos. You could bring Derek Luke back.
They have better chemistry too,
Yeah.
her and Derek Luke, than her and
But
Tay.
I see why Angelo, Tay, and Cookie's relationship, the chemistry's not quite there, is because they're coming from these two different worlds. Now, what's your take? Do you think Angelo had a right to be in his feelings about Zaire?
Yes,
And
I absolutely loved that storyline. There's one thing about introducing current topics into a show, right? Especially a show that has a platform like this. However, it has to be in a way that feels organic to the show. And there's been times in the past where Empire has talked about certain things and it just feels like, oh, we need to talk about Black Lives Matter, let's throw this in here. And I'm not talking about this season, I'm talking about the past though. And although it's necessary and it's a conversation that needs to be had, it just didn't feel like it fit with the way the show was going or the episodes, the writing. So I feel like they really have been focusing this season on incorporating some of those things, but doing it in a way that feels natural. So the way they introduced this character and they showed, I really enjoy when they showed like the black girls who are coding, because that's a big thing right now where there are organizations that are focusing on that. And I wish that I was in one of those organizations back in the day so I can be making that money. However, it's just inspiring because then there's also going to be those people who, although we know about that, and there are going to be a large group of people who know about that, there's people who are watching this show who may not know that organizations like that exist. So now this is raising awareness for that. People are like, oh, that's a real thing? Oh shit, maybe I should get my daughter or my son in a program like that. So it really, it's moments like that where even though the chemistry, like you guys were saying, wasn't necessarily there between Taraji and Taye Diggs, it was a moment like that I feel like was really necessary. And then to see Cookie have the courage to go to Lucious, rip up the contract and say, no, you're going to school, and then guarantee that. And I don't know, it didn't get me emotional, but it just got me happy when she ripped it up and said, no, you can go to school, get your degree, and then we'll still have a spot for you here.
That made me feel good too.
Yeah.
I mean, because I agreed with Angelo's point, though, that to me, there are accountants at every entertainment company. There are different programmers, different type of jobs. You can still have an interest or a passion in entertainment and work in other fields and, connect in those areas. So I feel good when I see storylines like that really connect, like to your point, organically and honestly about issues that are out there.
I'll agree, but I'll disagree just for the sake of disagreeing. I do think that if he's going to MIT, he does have a high GPA. We're not sure if he's getting a full ride, and sometimes a full ride does not help with all your financial responsibilities. So I feel like he could have still did a contract, did a single, make some money, so that when he goes to college, he can have some kind of financial stability.
If you're making money though, he ain't going to school.
Yeah.
Right.
Once you get money and a couple girls start chasing behind you, you
It's
get
a
that you
wrap.
verified on Twitter and Instagram. You be like, well, I'm here, I've arrived, and then down the drain.
Yeah, but I'm just saying hypothetically that it possibly could happen
like
because
Silento out.
because
Silent
rap,
out.
yeah, rap careers they come and go. So I'm saying that they could have handled it a little bit differently, and then also I am glad that Cookie ripped the contract up because where's the boy's mama?
Right?
Oh, poor thing.
Where's his auntie? There's no adults. Like you are going to. Lucious is going to have this child sign a contract without any type of parental
And
guidance.
here's a car.
Yeah.
So very TLC
No
Pebbles.
lawyer.
I'm gonna say nobody around at all. Actually, not even the parents. Like there's nobody. He just reading the. He don't know.
Okay. You said a car?
Right.
Okay.
Looks good to me. Cool. Like I don't know.
But I'm glad. In the end, I'm glad it happened. But I do also see Lucious' point of obviously you gotta have the new talent because Cookie ain't doing a damn job. Okay, now Andre, Max, Rhonda, Jamal, Hakeem, Cookie, just this whole thing. Okay, so Andre is released on bail. Max says, "Don't go all Black Lives Matter on me." You see, dead Rhonda comes to hunt Andre again.
I'm so glad she's still getting work. Go girl.
I think
Maybe that's why she doesn't have a funeral.
I think she's gonna continue to be a special guest. So she's a cast. I think she's just been demoted to reoccurring and not a series regular. So that's what I'm thinking is what's going on with her. But so this whole Andre situation. So he goes into Empire to talk to his mom. He was like, look, I gave them attitude. He's saying he doesn't need thirsty. He got his own lawyer. Cookie says, you do realize you're a black man. There's no video. There's no evidence. It's your word against theirs. I'm a Wharton graduate. I'm a CEO of publicly traded corporation. I'm not fighting with fire. Lucious says, this boy's headed in trouble. Now, what's your thoughts?
Well, it's true. But again, I from the standpoint of having thirsty help, I can understand him not wanting to do that. You ain't coming up in my court day with a purple suit on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So I understand that regard because he went to Wharton. So when you go to Wharton, you have a certain business acumen. You want somebody to represent you that you think can get the job done. So I don't fault him for thinking he picked the sound attorney and thinking that he had it under control. But when he was shocked that the charges got flipped and they were saying that he assaulted the cop and all this other stuff, I was like, dude, why are you surprised? Like, come on, brother. Like, that's when I was like, yeah, you a little guarded.
So do you think Lucious had a point when he said that his sons were really soft because he didn't raise them in the hood?
There's
And
a lot.
they don't think that they're black.
Yeah, there's a lot of things he says. He says I did every. He says that I let y'all breathe rarefied air and live behind the giant gates, and drive in limos. This is the biggest mistake of my life because it made y'all soft. He says now my sons walk the streets like food. Jamal replies back, and then he says, you see, self-preservation has the very first rule of nature. It's killed or be killed in these streets. He wants the door to be open. He's upset. He's in his feelings. And he says, why, when Andre wants the door to be open, he says, why? So you can get beat up by the cops and thrown back in jail again. And then he says to Jamal, or you get shot again with your little girlfriends in your therapy club.
Lucious doesn't mince words.
No, yeah, he does. And then he goes, I mean, the whole time I thought the problem was that you were bipolar and you were gay and that you were just spoiled. But now I'm realizing y'all don't know y'all black. The fault lies with me. You better get woke and get woke quick, because you are one moment away from being a hashtag or becoming a hashtag.
I get from Lucious's perspective, the speech. You know, I get Lucious, he does those types of speeches. You know, that's his thing. So I get his perspective. But to say, like, you can't tell somebody of color that they don't know that they're of color, because that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But I do think, not especially Andre, not that he didn't know that he was black. I think he didn't understand that sometimes when you're black, your class doesn't matter. So that's what I was thinking. Oh, so I was like, no, he knows he's black. He just thought that the level of success that he established would kind of give him some credibility as a black man, and then sometimes in the eyes of the law, that does not matter. So I think he doesn't realize that anymore.
Go ahead.
I get what you're saying, but I think when Lucious mentions that you guys about the you don't know that you're black, I don't think he means it in the sense of like the skin color, but just realizing the environment, what goes on, and I do have to agree with Lucious in that sense, because I think that a lot of people, probably 21 and under, you know, before this emergence of a lot of things that you see in the black media, we had nothing on TV. The last thing that we had up until this emergence was probably the Bernie Mac show and My Wife and Kids. For a while, there was a lot of stuff that was simply not black. And there was a lot of these kids that were just growing up thinking that they were just in this nice world where everybody just plays together. And then couple years ago happened, and then boom, now they're starting to realize that what your image of what you thought was reality is really not.
But is that for kids who have opportunities, or is that hood kids? Because I can show you a couple hood kids who are that generation who know they're black. You know what I mean? So is it class or in circumstance?
Well, I'm from Cali, so I just, from a California perspective, I don't know the whole hood and like the segregation. I don't know that, but I know in California, I see a lot of kids who are not necessarily high class, but they are around so many different cultures that sometimes they don't understand, or that they don't get it.
Yeah.
So, because California is more of a melting pot, so you're saying that they don't really understand that in
Some
other
don't.
places. I mean, I can see
Some
that.
don't.
But I think that no matter what, the world or society is always going to remind you at various points, even if they don't recognize it right away, they'll figure it out.
Even if it's like going to the movies with your friends and your other friend walk in, other friends who aren't the same color as you walk in, find then the security guard, hey, come here 1 second. Let me see.
Some of them don't see it that way.
I think it can go either way in regards to that, but I think in regards to Andre, the fact that when he was in court and those charges came upon, he was like, "I'm a Wharton grad." I think it was beyond him. I think he understands he's a black man and he knows, but I think again he thought the things that he established and the accomplishments that he's made should again, prop him up more as a black man.
In regards to that, though, I will say he shouldn't have been surprised that charges were upped, not only because he's a black man, but also because, yeah, you're a Warden grad and you're the CEO of a publicly traded company, but let's see what that company is. It's Empire.
You're a
That's
lion.
been rated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're a lion. Like, you're a Lucious Lyon's son who had all this controversy. Your mom was in jail for 17 years. So it's like all these things are over your head. So if you have a company that people are already trying to take down and you are part of that company and you are the CEO and founder's son, like, what were you expecting?
But that becomes the part of the blame that Lucious accept the responsibility of. I've sheltered you guys now, which is ironic because anyone who's with Andre being the oldest, he was around the streets of Philly.
Yeah,
But I think Andre's story is probably typical of the stories that we hear.
Yeah.
Come from the hood, humble beginnings, do the right thing, take the right steps, go to the places where you're supposed to be. Just even his whole attitude towards it. No, I was being a little disrespectful. I spoke up.
That made me so mad.
Subscribing to, no, I'm following the rules. I'm doing what you said that I should do, and I'll have the success and the rewards, and I won't be treated like that. And this was just a reminder that even if you do the right thing, the wrong thing can happen to you.
Do you guys think that Cookie and Lucious, although Andre does not want their help, do you think that they should coddle them some more and step up and do what they need to do to protect him, or do you think they need to let him learn his lesson?
I think they can try to act like they're going to let him do it on his own, but I think they need to be setting up a plan on the low. Like, well, this is what we're gonna do. If this ain't going the way we plan, this is what we're gonna do. They need to have a backup plan, and I think Andre will eventually get there as well.
Don't we think he got there though when Tyreke walked up to
I
him?
think
everything kind of crystallized in his head, but maybe overshadowing the fact that he's black too. Also in that though.
What's your take on Tyreke? So Tyreke, he wants to now get information on Graham, aka Romeo, because he's a part of some mafia uptown New York somewhere, and so he wants to now watch him so that maybe he can use that information to take down Lucious, and then he also then bribes Andre to come on over to his side so that he can help take Lucious down.
He's just grabbing at all straws, and quite honestly, do what you have to do, man.
At this point,
He has a goal. It's his job. Like, do what you have to do. I in specifically with Andre's situation though, the way he went about that is a little troubling, a lot troubling, especially dealing or understanding like the climate of what's going on and what's been going on forever. The fact that a black man would do that to another black man, I don't care what your job is, like that bothers me. But at the same time, he's doing what he has to do, and he keeps trying different ways, and every outlet he's trying gets stopped at some point. So he's just really getting desperate at this point.
My thing is what is his problem? He's
jealousy,
right? Like, he mad as hell. Like, sir, you've got to relax.
He wanted Cookie. It
got to be something, because he was it just that his daddy didn't want you? Like, you're that mad? Did it make you that mad? Still, you 45,
right? Right.
Right. Like, sir, you've got to relax. So that's my angle. I'm like, come on, bro. You give it up.
But there are a lot of siblings who hold on to stuff for a very long time and they do not let it go, especially when Lucious is probably worth a couple $100 million. Like, his whole life is like reality TV, how we see all these reality stars and how great and fabulous they live. Tyreke has to watch his half-brother be this big-time rapper, this big mogul, and he has to witness all this. So I can see why Tyreke is in his feelings. Does it make sense? No, it does not. Yes, he does need to get over it, but there are some people... There are some church mothers who hold stuff in to their grave. They're just bitter Bettys, and Tyreke is a give me a name.
What about he's Saudi? Oh, a Saudi Sharif. Pissy Patrick.
Oh my God.
Bitter Bernard. He needs to get over it. Like,
Yeah.
it's personal. It's not about
Yeah.
his job. I don't care what he thinks. I mean, if he wanted to be down with Lucious that bad, go be head of security for Empire. Like, it's something else.
Yeah.
That's
well,
usually a woman.
well, what do you think it is?
Maybe that flashback that they showed us with Cookie and Old Boy is him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm just reaching at this point. Like, I don't know. But no, because they showed his little character skirting
Well,
around. But
I did see in the flashback he was a little dude with the cut off shorts, and so I think that Tyreke also had music inspirations because it was all around their beatboxing, and low key he. You know, he could be the Jermaine who was just as talented as Michael and didn't get the opportunity. So he's mad as hell because he didn't.
I'm serious too.
But you know what? He didn't get a chance to do. Don't take it personal. He didn't even get a chance to record.
Let's get serious.
So I'm just saying really quickly. When we were doing Power last week, you made a reference about Tyreke. And that was in my notes about Tyreke and going to the hood on the weekends.
With his hood cousins.
And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the brothers are having this problem too. Can you just make the reference?
You know, like when you are a privileged family and you have established a certain level of success and you have children. Yes, they become isolated, but usually you take them to hang out with their hood cousins on the weekend. You take them over there, they get to play in the dirt, they, walking around, doing what they doing, throwing bottles in the street, and then you grab them, they ass up and take them back home. You have to expose your kids to both sides. Let them know that, yeah, this is where we came from, but we doing a little bit better because if you work hard, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But you still got to expose them. So, again, you show to your kids sometimes, not all the time, sometimes that's what happens.
Yeah. Anything else before we go into predictions? All right. Hit it.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I was like, what's that?
I'll say that I'm happy that it alludes to Andre getting with Nessa.
Nessa!
I like that, and that's all I'm gonna say for why.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm missing the epiphany.
Like in the preview, they show previews, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked pretty interesting.
Like, you think it's gonna be beef between him and Hakeem?
Well, between Shine, it looks like the two of them fight, but I'm glad. Yeah, but I'm glad that I think I'm gonna like this relationship.
Well, Hakeem gonna be sorry now that y'all bring that up, because now he got the Tiana thing. He gonna drop a diss track with Nessa against Nessa for sleeping with his brother.
Yeah,
I feel like Nessa's his best friend now or something. Like they have a different kind of connection. So
I don't know. You know, he act like he own everybody though.
he
Yeah,
really does.
Lucious
Though.
Jr.
Yeah.
My prediction, Jill, did you want to go?
No.
My prediction, not that I think this is gonna happen, but with the Tay Diggs character and the way he's so buttoned up, watch him be like celibate and saving it for marriage or something. You know, like watch they throw that, like, you actually have this. What is the ring when you had the
promise ring?
No, when you like saving yourself like a serenity, whatever he's going, like, I have this serenity ring and I'm saving myself for marriage.
None of us know
He's
because
like a wholesome man.
How do you know?
No, I said none of us know. We all sit here calling, oh, yeah.
Oh,
And crickets in the room.
Purity ring.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
purity ring, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jill knows. One of us is safe.
but he did reach for a
That
kiss.
no mustache.
He did ask for a kiss. You know that
He
might
said
have
he
been
gonna
his
get it
moment,
next
but he
time.
didn't.
He
Yeah.
did.
You don't get it. For me, I think that as far as Jamal and Andre, because remember, I don't know if it was last episode or first episode, Jamal was like, oh, I'm going to take care of you with your meds. But now he's over there popping pills. So they both going to be a hot mess, high together on the pills. I agree. I can't wait to see what happens with Nessa and Andre. And yeah, I think that with Cookie and I was about to say Tangelo. What's his name?
Angelo Dubois.
Wow.
I can't. The fact y'all did that in unison. With him, I'm not really feeling it right now, and I need it to be maybe they're doing that on purpose because of they come from different backgrounds. Their characters do. So hopefully we start to feel it because when who's the dude who
Derek Luke?
No, Derek Luke was great. The guy from Adam Rodriguez, that was good. Like, so I know they can, and I don't think they would have casted him if it didn't so
Sparkle.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So I'm waiting to see how that plays out. But
I think with this Angelo Cookie thing, I think it's going slow on purpose just because Cookie is learning about the other side. So Angelo is kind of I don't want to say coon, but he's very,
Damn.
the word that's not the right word, but he's
Like a square. He kind of is.
Yeah.
he's a square, and so Cookie's learning things from him, and he's learning things from Cookie. So it's very very slow in a sense, and I like where it's going. I don't particularly have any predictions except that Shine will die before the end of the season.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree.
And so now we'll go to Emile.
All right, guys. So this is my last AfterBuzz. Thank you guys for supporting and watching over the past couple of years. I've been here for 4.5 years, but I really want to just say thank you. I've grown here. It's been great meeting you, Jill. But as far as Bamm and Kennelia goes, I've been with them for so long, so it is bittersweet. But you can still find me on Happy Hour Shot of Conversation. It's a podcast I do with Kennelia and Sophia. If you haven't checked that out already, that's on iTunes, on any podcast app. And also, make sure you follow me on social media. I'm now hosting over at Clever, so I'll be there often, so you can check me out there. So please support, and let's stay in touch.
You can find me on all social media at Kennelia.
You can find me at Stiletto Jill and at JacksonStilettoJill.com.
And you can find me on all social media at Bamm Ericsen. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV for Empire Season 3. And we want to also just thank our host, Mr. Emile, who, as he said, we've been hosting since day one when we did Scandal Season 1. And so we want to wish you all the very best. Your career has completely flourished since you started. From hosting to commercials to acting. So please continue to follow him because he is destined.
Emile popping out here.
Because he is definitely destined for great things. So we want to thank you and the best of luck to you. And thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.